What if the course of history took a different path? What if World War II ended not in Allied victory but in Axis triumph? Today, we dive into the gripping alternate history of what might have been if World War II had a different outcome. To understand this alternate reality, let's first examine a pivotal moment. What if D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy, had failed? Without a successful landing, the liberation of Western Europe would have stalled, leaving Nazi Germany in control of most of the continent. Without the pressure from the Western Front, Hitler could have redirected his forces eastward, fortifying his positions against the Soviet Union. Now imagine 1946. The Axis powers are victorious. Germany dominates Europe. Japan controls much of Asia and the Pacific. And the United States, having never been able to mount a successful European campaign, returns to isolationism. In this world, Nazi ideology spreads across Europe, with brutal regimes installed in France, the UK, and beyond. The Holocaust, tragically, might never have been stopped. But what about the Soviet Union? Stalin's forces, though battered, would continue the fight. With no Western allies to aid them, the USSR would struggle to hold its ground. Would a truce eventually be signed? Or would the world face an endless battle between fascism and communism? And without an Allied victory, the Cold War, as we know it, would look very different, or perhaps there wouldn't be one at all. Technological advancement would still press on, but under different circumstances. The nuclear arms race might be limited to Germany and Japan, both developing their own atomic weapons. And who would win the space race? Without the competitive edge of the US and USSR, the exploration of space might take a darker turn, with propaganda and dominance at its core. The global cultural landscape would also shift dramatically. Western democracy, as we know it, might never spread. Would individual freedoms, women's rights, or civil rights movements have gained the same traction? Fascist regimes would likely control media, education, and public life, shaping the minds of generations to come under a strict, militaristic world order. But perhaps not all hope is lost. Resistance movements could have flourished in Axis-occupied territories. Underground networks in Europe, Asia, and Africa might have kept the spirit of rebellion alive. Would these rebels have eventually overthrown the Axis regimes? Or would it take decades of bloodshed for the world to see a new revolution? So, what if World War II had a different outcome? The consequences would have been far-reaching, reshaping the very fabric of our modern world. We might have seen a future dominated by fascist regimes, suppressed cultures, and a world much darker than the one we know today. Thankfully, history played out as it did, but exploring these alternate paths reminds us of the fragility of our world and the importance of those pivotal moments that define our future. What other events in history do you think could have changed everything? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into alternate history.